I've been thinking about my mother's first diagnosis in the last few weeks. She was diagnosed in the late 70s. My husband at that time was also in hospital with testicular cancer. Unfortunately, my husband died in 1980, and my mother was fine till probably 5 years later. So, the magic 5-year cut-off. And she began to get night sweats and went back into hospital, and we went to see another doctor, and he said, oh, well, it's gone to your liver and there's pretty much nothing we can do, and go away and look after her until she dies. My father was American, and his first thought was to go to America. So we went there for a second opinion, and they said, oh, there are lots of things we can do. So they put in a hepatic artery pump, which did the chemo straight into the liver. It had to be refilled every 2 weeks with either the chemo or saline or whatever. And so we wanted it to come back to England, and so we found a young doctor, Tim Allen Mersch, who then became our leading light. And in fact, my mother lived for 18 months with a very good quality of life, which was a lot better than we were told in England. And she even went to Lourdes as a nurse and nursed other sick patients. She died in October 1987. And my father was incensed that this treatment was not available in England. Only if you could afford to go to America and have this treatment. He thought the inequity of all of this was very bad, so he called up 4 good friends of his and said, you're all going to help me raise the money to start a trial. We thought it would be really easy to set up a trial. In fact, it took 5 years. The way we got the patients was through planting letters in Woman's Own, all the women's magazines and newspapers and things like that. And people would ring us up and say, can I be part of the trial? We'd say, yes, please. It took 5 years to actually finish the trial. And then all the results were published in the Lancet, which showed that this was indeed a good quality of life. My mother died in October 87. And so the charity was set up by then with the same trustees and my father. And then he died 2 months later, really of a broken heart. He just gave up. And so there we were sitting in January thinking, now what do we do? So we thought, well, we better carry on because, we can't close up now because there's so many people who need us. But also in those days, there was no information. You just did what the surgeon told or the doctor told you. And if you didn't get any information, you were up a creek without a paddle. So I think that's one of our major achievements, is to have really allowed the patients to take charge in some way of their own treatments. We were one of the first helplines, I think, that there were. Also, we set up Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, which is still going after all this time. And I think we were one of the first charities to get all the other charities together under the same roof, which was unheard of in those days. I'm very proud to be founding patron.